Dr. Modelstein here reporting in once again. I hope that you have had a wonderful week. Are you excited about the upcoming national convention? I know I am. Tonight we will have a couple of the guys from the Tidewater Club to talk about all the last-minute details for the show. We have already started preparing all of the goodies that we will be bringing with us. Did you see the new mini-art items that arrived this week? Grab them fast, as I believe we are already down to just a few left. There's also a very interesting one, 700 scale resin kit that has arrived from AJM Models and HMS Enterprise. That's right, even the British use the name Enterprise. Speaking of Enterprise, our Spaceship Enterprise paint set painting guide has now been added to the SquadronColors.com website. So that QR code on your paint set finally works. And if you don't have the paint set, head over to SquadronColors.com and you can check it out. It just might interest you into wanting to build an Enterprise. We have had a chance to look through this convention exclusive Razorback kit that we announced last week, and it looks really nice. I can't wait for you to see it in person. Tonight we will be announcing the second convention exclusive kit, and I am just as excited about this one. I will give you a hint. It is not a P-47. Ha! Well, I think I am going to go and find a jar of pickles to snack on before Brandon shows up and kicks me off of here. Perhaps I will dip the pickles in some of the Squadron hot sauce.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wednesday night, and here we are at Squadron Live. I appreciate you all being here, as I always do. I look forward to Wednesday night. I know I say that all the time, but the last several days has been very interesting. My wife and my youngest son went on a trip, and I took them to the airport Friday. Their flight got delayed, so they sat around for 5 hours waiting on a plane, so that was fun. And then when they came back a couple of days later, their flight got moved and everything changed, and I ended up having to drive to Nashville a couple of nights ago at midnight to pick them up. So it's been a fun week. On the personal side of things, but on the business side of things, it's been a very exciting week. We've got so much stuff going on, as we always seem to do, and we'll get into a little of that here shortly. But we've got some guests waiting backstage, so I don't want to keep them waiting too long. So let me get over here in the chat and see who's with us tonight. We've got Joseph and David. It's good to see you guys. And David says it's a hot 92 down where you are. Man, I would go for some 92 right now. I don't know why, but it's been ridiculously hot here in Ringgold the last couple of days. My oldest son, he's got soccer camp this week. Not a stayover camp yet. We take him in the morning, pick him up in the afternoon kind of thing. And yesterday, I remember we get in the car to go, and he gets in, and up on the dash, it tells you how hot it is. And I said, "Hey, son, you ready to go to camp?" And he looked, and the dash said it was 107 degrees. And as soon as he saw that, he was all of a sudden not so excited to go. But it's been a good week. It has been hot. David, hopefully it cools down for you and the rest of us. Danny, good to see you tonight. And Ken, having some weather yourself. Mark, good to see you, buddy. Randy's with us doing some more book reviews. One of these days, I'm gonna have to check out some of these books you're going over, man. You're always going through some books. Makes me wonder. Derek, good to see you. And Jeff Hearn is with us. That's interesting because he's right there. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Jason, it's good to see you, and Rex and Skip's with us. And guys, I've got to apologize in advance if my connection gets a little quirky tonight. I don't know what's going on with my connection. It's been not great. David says he's been over 100 for the last few days. What about you, Jeff? Are you at 100 up there?
We were in the upper 90s for 4 or 5 days, and then it dropped down. We got a high pressure front that moved through, and it's a lovely 72 and breezy right now.
Well, send some of that down our ways. Dave Sanchez says he's in Arizona staying cool. Yep. Ed, good to see you. And JL, Brandon Porter out in Texas. Bill and Rob and Tom, Ken, good to see you guys. Mark, Frank, Sparky's with us tonight. The Rohala is here. Good to see you. David and a couple of different Davids here. David Enders up in Middle Tennessee. Good to see you. Michael's with us. David says he's checking in. Good to see you.
I know that guy.
Oh, you do? Well, he must be all right then.
He's a good guy. Yeah.
TD is with us. And Kimberly, good to see you tonight. See what she says. Got the radio set and paints that I ordered. Good deal. A day earlier than expected. That is really good to hear because usually it's a day late or more than a day late. So I love to hear that. That's awesome.
Was that old saying, a day late and a dollar short?
I guess so. Looks like you, Jeff, you and Dave were talking about the Copperoid Red that's in the works. It is in the works. It's actually down here in the production room. That color is actually done now. We just got to get it bottled up. So that'll be coming down the line. And that there was one of the blues that somebody was asking about last week.
Caviti.
Yes, Caviti blue. That one is done. It's bottled up. We just got to get it labeled, and that should be up for sale maybe by the weekend. By this time next week for sure. But that one is done. It's ready to go. Just got to get it labeled up and on the website.
One of those weird, obscure colors that.
Oh, yeah. So we're rocking and rolling through the colors. Got all sorts of good stuff going. I'm going to just say hello to everybody else. I appreciate you all being here. Don't have time to throw everybody up on the screen tonight, so I appreciate that. And Jason wants to know, have you figured out how many bottles of paint it's going to take to do the Dora yet? No, I haven't, but so far I've gone through 5 bottles. It's actually not going to take as many as I thought. 5 bottles got all but one side of it done like a base coat. So I would say maybe fingers crossed another 5 bottles.
Yeah, but they're quart bottles.
No, Jeff, I'm using the gallon bottles.
Oh, the big gallon jugs. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's really not taking quite as much as I thought. But then again, I'm putting it on really thin. That's this particular model, the gray that they molded it in is pretty dark anyway. So that kind of serves as a base coat, if you will. Well, so tonight we've got Charles Landrum with us again, and also Tom Jett, the chair and the vice chair of this coming convention, and we'll bring them on in just a moment. But I got to show you guys something. Of course, everybody wants to know what our second release is going to be at Nationals, our second convention exclusive. But first, last week I didn't have this to show you, but check it out.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, here it is in the physical form. So it really turned out nice.
It's not vaporware. It actually exists.
This is an actual thing. Last week we were showing the pictures of it and the renders and all that fun stuff, but no, it's really here. And let's see. There you go. Look at that, Jeff.
Oh, look at that. Hey,
there's our paint inside of a real mini art model kit box. So it worked out really nice. Everything in this kit looks fantastic. The decals worked out really nice. There they are.
Fantastic.
And like I mentioned last week, that is the exclusive decal set, the one proprietary to this kit, but then it also includes the mini art stencil sheet for the P47. So that's got all your generic stenciling markings and whatnot. So it's just really nice. And then, of course, just like most mini art kits, you get a big bag of plastic here too. So it's going to be nice. I'm going to be doing a what's in the box video on this sometime this weekend, I hope, and show that off. But yeah, there you go. There it is.
Suitable for framing.
Yeah. Well, let me see if I can get Tom and Charles in here. Boom. Hey guys, how are you?
Boom and boom.
Great.
Good to see you tonight.
Yeah, likewise. Good to see you guys.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you being in here. We had you on. It's been, I don't know, several weeks now, and we talked about the upcoming IPMS National Convention, of course, that your club is hosting in Hampton, Virginia this year. And we've been excited about it. Last time we talked, we had a couple of other shows we were going to be attending soon, the IPMS Nationals being one, Wonderfest, and then now I've gone to our local club, has had our show. But now at this point, we've turned, as far as shows go, we have turned our entire focus to the National Convention, because that being a little over a month away is our next show, and we couldn't be more excited about it. So we're hoping that I assume by this time, all the plans are kind of nailed down. Maybe all the last minute stuff. Hopefully,
well, you know what happens when you assume, right?
Yeah, that is true. Well, bring us up to date. Tell us what's in the works. Has anything changed? Anything exciting? Give us the last minute update.
Well, first, thanks for hosting us again. This is really great. It's a fantastic medium for us to get the word out about the show. Charles and I both really do appreciate it. Congratulations too on the P47. We're honored to have our show logo on the boxes maybe, and it's just really cool to be partnered with you on those two releases. But
there's two. That part's not a secret.
Okay, nonetheless, we're very very honored to be partnered with you on that, and it just looks fantastic. Can't wait to fondle them. So
yeah.
Great. We've got some updates, a few changes, not too many, thankfully. By and large, all the trade stuff in the media and whatnot has not really impacted the show tremendously. We have heard sort of that visas have been a problem for a couple vendors. You guys know one of them. Our friend from Copper State Models also was not able to get his visa secured. So he won't physically be coming, but his stuff is. So his stuff will be at another vendor's table.
Okay.
Partners with. So we should have a good showing of Copper State models here at the show.
Okay.
Well. So we mentioned some customs issues. Hopefully that won't be a major problem with some of our overseas vendors. Last year, Jeff, you'll remember, Edward got kind of hosed by the customs guys, and some hopefully they planned ahead and really kind of pushed that ahead of time. So, but we'll see. They are coming. As far as we know, they've booked their hotels. So fingers are crossed that they're coming. So there have been no major cancellations of any of the major vendors or industry folks. So all of that is good. Model registration wise, we're we're like nipping at your heels, Jeff, from 2024.
Uh-oh.
We're about 5 people, 5 bodies behind where you were last year.
Oh, wow. Well, hey, that's great. That
so
is
it's pretty close. Yeah. We right now we've got about 636 people registered, 336 guests, 16 internationals. And I'm happy to say our friends to the north in Canada have stepped up. They were a little slow starting, but we have 7 Canadians now registered. So we're happy to welcome them to the lower 48, so to speak. But a good representation. We've got, I want to meet this guy. One guy's coming all the way from Australia. So he's got a long flight. I don't know how he's going to, get hit. If he's bringing a kit, it may be dust or just small pieces by the time it gets here from Australia. But,
Tom, while you're talking about registration, because I know what the answer is, let me pull this up. The last day to pre-register, it's coming up pretty quick, isn't it?
Certainly is. Monday, June 30th at midnight, the pre-registration will end.
Okay. After Monday at midnight.
Yep.
Well, and that's to register for the event. The model registration,
yes,
will actually stay open longer.
Yeah.
Right, Tom? So we can register through the month of July. And I think we shut it down right before the convention. That way, everybody can get their models entered in.
Right. And correct me if I'm wrong, but for anybody who's not watching live, who happens to watch this after Monday at midnight, you can still show up and register. You're just going to have to stand in line. Is that correct?
Yeah, you'll have to stand in line, and you'll pay a little bit more, $10 more at the convention center. So it's a little bit cheaper if you pre-register now.
Sure.
Charles's point about model registration is spot on. That has been up for a while now. We've got 403 kits so far registered. Guys, if you're out there and you're coming to the show and you're going to be entering the contest and you haven't registered your models, do so as soon as you can. It's super easy. You log in with your IPMS credentials, your user ID and password, and it's very intuitive. We've built, Jeff knows that his crew actually is the brainchild of this, but we've tweaked it since last year. So a few of the bugs that were lessons learned from the 24 show have been resolved, but it's very simple to go in there. Lots of drop down menus to find your manufacturer, the scale, your genre, the category, etc. So get them in there now. You don't want to register your models at the show.
No.
We will have 3 workstations, but it's going to be a goat rope if we have hundreds of people trying to register a model on 3 laptops.
And I don't have a vested interest in this anymore. So last year was my time in the frying pan. But I will relate a story. I had 2 friends of mine who came in from out of town, and one of them pre-registered online. The other was vehemently against pre-registering online, and he was going to, by God, I'm going to fill it out with my crayons, and there's nothing you can do about it. They showed up together, and by the time guy number 2 got his models registered, guy number 1 had already gone through the vendor room twice and taken in a seminar. And it is, and this is the logic that we use. And now that I'm not in your position anymore, I don't have to be as polite. We as a society do all of our banking online. We do Amazon. We do Netflix. We do all of these
Squadron.
We do Squadron online. We do all of these things online. And yet when it comes to registering our models for the national convention, we fight tooth and nail. Like this is a hill we want to die on because we want to fill out our paper form.
Yeah.
Because it's an inconvenience for the modeler to do it. No, it's an inconvenience for all of the volunteers and all of the people that are working to try to get you processed and into the convention. So it's a whole lot easier if 500 people take 10 or 15 minutes of their own time to get this done so that you just walk in with a piece of paper. We scan that QR code, it beeps, and you're gone. You're done. That's it. That's all there is to it. So
and check out what Jared is saying here, guys. This has always been one of the things that perhaps kept me from pre-registering. But what Jared says, if you don't think it's going to be finished, register it anyway. And then when you get there, if you don't have it with you, just don't check that particular model in.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's super flexible. You can really plan to show up with, everything you've built in the last 3 years or whatever, and only decide to enter one thing. It doesn't matter. But the more prepared you are before you get to the show, the better you'll be. And the beauty of this thing too, I believe you can hit it from a laptop, a desktop, a phone, Android, iPhone. So you could make these last minute edits, updates, and changes all the way up to the time you get to the door in Hampton. So it's super flexible. Remember to bring your forms with you. Print off your forms before you leave the house. Pack them in your box. Bring those with you, and that'll make check-in so much easier. We will have a printer available, but it'll just slow up the work.
Yeah.
If you got to print your forms there.
Well,
So,
Tom has a question. And I know this is each show does things different, but he's wondering if you pre-register, are you going to give out your packages the night before?
No.
Okay.
If you're talking about the registration packets, that'll all begin Wednesday. Wednesday afternoon, shortly after. Well, it's either I think it's either 11 or 12 o'clock.
Okay.
We'll open up. Tuesday will be consumed with setup, as you all well know.
Oh, yeah, we know that.
The crew here in Hampton will be working super hard from early Tuesday morning till probably late in the evening, getting everything squared away, set up, hung up, make sure all the fires have been put out that no doubt will crop up throughout the day. Make sure all of our vendors are good to go, satisfied, got their Wi-Fi and power needs satisfied. So, it would be nice to be able to do that. But again, as I mentioned, right now we've got 630 plus people pre-registered. That's a lot of people to process the night before.
And so, and if it was like it was in Madison, as vendors were coming in, we were still adding things to the registration packets and to the registration envelopes. They all have to be itemized and inventoried and put in alphabetical order. It just adds an element to the process that it just opens it up for problems.
Yeah. And I don't know what happened to Charles, by the way. He disappeared. He's there, but he's not there. So if you show back up, Charles, I'll bring you back in.
It looks like he's trying. But,
I think he's trying to get connected back. But so here you go, Tom. So I decided, and Jeff, I think you saw this. We've talked about this before. I'm a big pin guy, so I got all my pins for Nationals. This is on one of my lanyards. I have another lanyard I had to start because I ran out of room. But I assume that we're going to get a cool pin this year from Tidewater.
And
okay.
There'll be a cool judge's pin if you're also a judge.
Oh, I am. Yeah, and, I'm looking forward to that.
The judge's pin is going to be it's a little tongue in cheek. There's a little bit of a comedic twist to it.
Okay.
But, it'll be not your usual judge's pin, but
all right. So
that'll be something to look forward to as well.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you've got then.
Yeah. So all of those things are the good. All of our swag basically is in or on the way. So don't going back to what we were talking about with respect to supply chains and things. So far, knock on wood, we haven't really been impacted at all by that. So most of the stuff we've all done on shore, a few things offshore, but no showstoppers thus far, knock on wood.
Good deal. Good deal.
So I guess the big question to ask is, when we were 30 days out, all of our ducks were in a row, and it was kind of a hurry up and wait. Are you? But we were all still moving at, there's still 1,001 things that need to be done in the timeline because it's a workflow process, and I know things like catering and whatnot can't be done more than, in some instances, 30 days out. So
Right.
Are you guys are you the ducks on the pond? You're calm on the surface, but you're paddling like crazy under?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like something just came to my attention today that we might have a little version control issue with respect to what the website schedule shows and with respect to the seminars and what our actual seminar schedule is. So I've got to sync those up and make sure the website matches what's published in the special show edition of the journal too. I think you mentioned that early on, Brandon. In that show special of the journal, there's also going to be a pullout that has all the seminar schedules, list of all the vendors, the vendor room map, and then a daily schedule of what happens when and what room. So that'll be a pullout you can carry with you. We're also going to have other offerings spread out throughout the venue of the same thing. If you didn't get a journal, not a registered member, you just want the information, those will be available to pick up all around the venue. So
that'll be very nice. Tom, let me tell Charles something real quick. Charles, assuming that you can hear me, Charles, close this entire thing and go back to your email where I sent you that link and just start the whole process over. Perhaps you can get in that way. Because I would love to have you on stage before I tell everybody about this next kit that we're doing here in a few minutes.
1/16 scale Dora.
Tom, I got so Miami Dolphins here has he doesn't have a question, but I'm going to turn it into a question. He says he doesn't compete anymore, but he says that he's got his reasons for that. But tell us about an option that's at your show. That started last year at Jeff's show. Give us some information about the option for guys that don't compete.
Yeah, thank you. It's a great, I planned to talk about this. Yeah, the Madison crew under Jeff's tutelage last year created something called the Tiger Meet, which I think was a really kind of a neat idea to kind of capture those guys who don't necessarily want to compete anymore, or just don't feel like going through the whole process of having their model, scrutinized 6 ways from Sunday. They're happy with it just as it is, and they don't need somebody telling them, you missed a spot right there, or that's a piece of dust. So the Tiger Meet is meant for a display-only area, and it's also ideal for special interest groups, club displays, group builds, all that whole thing. So we have about 57 tables devoted to Tiger Meet this year, and it's going to be nestled inside the contest room. So you won't have to leave the main contest room to go to Tiger Meet. It'll be a separated sort of area within the contest room. We'll have it cloaked and draped, and we have a big banner overhead for the sponsor of that particular event. So we've got a fairly good showing thus far. I think, a lot of this will show up at the door as we publish it. We talk it up. We're not sure exactly how many folks will be coming with their stuff, but we've been trying to put it out on social media about it. Through the website. I mentioned it at local clubs here up in Richmond, Virginia, in the DC area about it. I know guy I spoke about last time, Mike Bishop, he's planning to come and participate in Tiger Meet with some of his 16th scale builds, which I'm looking forward to see. So I think it's a great opportunity for our caller to bring something. If you're registered to come to the show, there's no cost to put your kit or into the Tiger Meet. If you're not registered or you're not an IPMS member, you just want to attend the convention, you buy a general admission ticket for the day. You can still participate in the Tiger Meet that way.
Yeah,
very nice. So if you're only able to come Wednesday or Thursday and you can't stay through, because I know a lot of guys, they don't bring stuff to the model contest because they got to get out of there before Saturday when the judging is done. So
Right.
if you're going to come Thursday or Friday and you're just going to be there for one day, bring your stuff, stick it in the tiger meat, hang out with some friends, show them off, and that's just a great thing.
Yeah,
it is. I plan to have probably a table full of stuff of mine. That, I haven't touched a model in 2 years, so I don't have anything current. So what the
There
heck?
you go.
I'll put it in the tiger meat.
the premise of the tiger meat when we started it was that we wanted to give, when non-IPMS members come to a national convention, and they see just the overwhelming number of models and vendors and everything else. No one, as a modeler, and I'm sure you guys share the same, no one ever wants to be the spectator. You want to have something on the table. You want to be a part of it. You want to be able to participate. But there are still a lot of people who, for whatever reason, can only come a day, so they don't justify registering for the convention. And then there's a lot of people who say, you know what, this is in my town for the first time. So I want to be able to put something on the table. Why would we not want to allow these people to bring their work in? Because if they put their work on the table, they're instantly in commune with other like-minded people and modelers, and they're walking around, and then all of a sudden they say, wow, I'm going to join the organization so I can be a part of this every year.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to dip your toe into the water, and see how it feels. Absolutely.
That was the whole reason why we wanted to do it. Other national conventions have always had display only, and those Chattanooga had an absolutely huge display area at their national convention, but we never were able to formalize it. And I know that when we put this idea together, you were one of the very first people that I talked to, and I said, if we do this, will you perpetuate it? And then I spoke to the guys in Indiana and said the same thing. It's not always the nationals have always been the convention, it has always been the vendor room and the contest room, and everything else has kind of had, second billing to those two main things. But this just brings people through the door. And
there's Charles.
There he is. If we want to grow the society, and if we want to expand, if we want to extend the longevity of this hobby, generationally, then we need to get more people involved.
Oh yeah,
it's a great way to outreach.
You saw what Steven said there. He says he likes the idea. Just bring a model for the day. I think further up here, he said that he wasn't going to bring anything because he hadn't completed anything in 3 years, kind of like you, Tom.
Well, that's because he works more hours than I do.
He knows just the model to bring for the tiger meat, so that's good.
Stephen, I look forward to seeing it. Absolutely.
It's a half-painted HMS hood.
Russell,
I'm going to catch it for that.
Russell Bryan has a question here, and I'm not 100% sure what he means, but I know what I'm going to turn the question into. So he says, is there an option for guys that build a kit and can't bring themselves to weather it to no end? But what I would say to that, Russell, is I think if you've been to the Nationals before, Russell, you know what I'm talking about. But there is no end to what you'll see at Nationals, and there's no wrong model to bring. Right. I mean, you will see kits that look like they just rolled off the factory floor, and you will see kits that look like they are currently resting on the bottom of the ocean, and everything else in between. So regardless, I'm not very good at weathering. So most of my stuff I do is factory finish kind of stuff. So there's no right or wrong way to build a model to bring to Nationals. And if you don't feel that it's up to par with somebody else, and you, like Tom said, you don't want it scrutinized every way possible, bring it to the tiger meat. It's just for fun, and it gets you to the show. It gets you bringing something, and like Jeff said, it gets you involved in the society. It's just a really good thing. So
it's a judgment-free zone.
Yeah.
Exactly. You don't have to stay with your model while it's in there. You get into the vendor room with your general admission pass if you're coming in as a non-IPMS member, so you can go shopping, come back.
There you go.
Get the crap with other modelers out there, and you'll pick up all kinds of information, tips, technique. It's just everybody's there willing to share ideas and geek out with each other. We only get to do this once a year.
Oh yeah.
Our wives, glaze over whenever we talk about this kind of stuff with them. So it's
My
our one
leaves down.
There you go. Well, Charles, you're back with us. Before you disappear again, give us something. I see something hanging on the wall behind you. Tell us a little bit about not specifically what's going to be in that bag, but just in general, what do people get when they register and they walk through?
Absolutely. Hold on. Let me grab it.
As he yanks the painting.
Suitable for framing.
There you go.
Lovely.
There, look at
Who's
that.
sponsored
Virtual
by, I
bag for
wonder.
the show.
Very
Brought
nice.
to you by, surprise, surprise.
Ah, I had no idea.
Yay. So I had actually talked to Brandon at
Open it up this way.
at San Marcos.
Check its
It
girth.
hold a lot. You can put a
Yes.
lot of stuff in there. It may even hold a Dora kit.
It may be a
This one.
1/700
Oh,
skill door.
Yeah, you need a pallet rack for that.
Anyway, when Brandon showed up at San Marcos with the full Squadron booth, and I was like, everybody was like, yay, Squadron's back. And I have a lot of fond memories of Squadron at conventions. I had said to Brandon, hey, bags, bring back the Squadron bag. And so, boy, did Brandon bring it back this time in style.
Yeah.
So, because we're really, the show logo we're pretty proud of, and we think that's just really cool addition on the
I
bag.
think it's a fantastic logo.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So, when you register, one of the things at National, there's some really cool stuff this year. But one of the things Nationals is famous for is you get a decal sheet that's unique to the National. Because this is our 5th convention, we decided to go big or go home. And so Micro Scale is our printer, and it's a 3-sheet decal set.
Wow.
Sure. We did 2. You got to do 3.
Wait,
3.
go big or go home.
Yeah. So now Indiana's got to do 4.
Okay.
So we tried to, we've got aircraft in there. Tom spearheaded an armored decal, which is placards inside the armored vehicles.
Good idea.
Yeah, we did 35th and 16th scale.
35th and 16th. And we have some car decals too. And those are a little bit different. Those are the vehicle inspection decals.
Okay.
That you don't see very often. And frankly, we had some challenges with that because most states don't like you taking images of their window stickers.
You don't say.
So it's a bit generic, but it'll, if you're a car modeler, you're missing that one little detail. Hopefully we're providing that for you.
Well, in that small of a scale, I don't think generic's going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah. No, I don't think so either.
Right.
But anyway, and then we got some cool aircraft subjects, but I'll leave that for the show.
Okay.
And
Now, if I may, Charles, so you said Microsoft, listen to me. Microscale is the printer. Are we allowed to say who was the designer and headed that project up?
Yeah, Mark Tutton at Starfighter Decal.
Good deal. I knew the answer to that, and I'm a good friend of his, so I wanted to give him a plug tonight.
No, absolutely. He's been fabulous. He did our 2014 sheet for us. I know he did Chattanooga's and a few other. And so right now I've got him slaving away on the instruction sheet that goes in it.
No wonder he won't return any emails right now. I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, to his credit, he's getting a lot of business from a lot of people. And so he's, good for him. He's staying busy.
And they were sponsored by Jeff at Rare Plane Detective.
That's right. Rare Plane Detective Jeff Garrity is our sponsor for this.
For the decals. Okay.
That's right.
Very
so when
nice.
you get the decal sheet, you will get a flyer from Jeff Garrity inside it as well.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with Rare Plane, and he offers models
Oh, yeah.
across the spectrum and some really rare and hard to find models.
Yeah, if you're looking for an old kit that's discontinued, that's not available at Squadron because it was made in 1950 or 60 or 70, and you
Before
just
Brandon was born, yes.
Yeah, before I was born. He's the guy to go to. You will find stuff that you forgot existed at his booth.
And he always runs a good table area.
yeah.
It's a lot of excitement. So
he's like you, Brandon. He is pumped up and excited to get to the show.
Well, good.
It oozes through his emails.
Well, and speaking of that, let me pull up your website real quick, which, by the way, everybody, is IPMSnationals.org.
Yay.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that's going to be consistent from year to year to year.
I am so glad, finally.
All right. Well, that'll be nice. So here's your website. And all of this information that Tom and Charles has given us, all of this is available here, of course. Your registration, this is where you do all that. I would hope that by now, if you're coming to the show, that you've got your hotels, but information about hotels and the area, you can do your own research and find hotels in the area because the convention hotels are sold out at this point.
We do have room at the Spring Hill Suites. There's a few rooms still
there you
left
go.
at Spring Hill Suites, which
We'll
only
grab those up.
Yep.
But so since we're talking about vendors, we'll go over here to your vendor information, and we're there. Rare Plane is there. Mark Tutton is there, but you guys got so many other vendors and that are going to be there, and anybody that's interested in knowing who's going to be there so you can make sure to bring enough dollar bills with you, go over here and just check out. I'm a big fan of supporting the vendors for obvious reasons. I'm a vendor, and I know what it takes for us to get to the show, to do what we do. So everybody go check out all the other vendors, support everybody. And some of these products that are in there, some of these guys have some very unique things that you may not have even known existed. So take a little time, scroll through here, see who's going to be there. You might find something that you didn't know that you were going to need. And
some stuff that you didn't know existed. Like last year when I was in Madison, I picked up a beautifully handmade carved knife handle. I forget, Jeff, I don't know if you met that guy. I think he's from California. But just a beautiful like rosewood carved, ergonomically fits in your hand knife handle. Yeah, just beautiful.
At a model show. Hey, you never know what you're going to find. We've got some non-model items that we're going to have at the show that are pretty exciting for me anyway. They're kind of cool. They all feature, as you guys could probably imagine, they feature Peter's artwork. We got all sorts of cool stuff that we're working on that we'll have at the show.
Cool. Very cool.
One of the other things that you're talking about, the registration bag.
Yeah. Tell us.
There's a special IPMS journal just for National.
Okay.
That National is put together, and it's pretty nice looking. It's got a I think I can say this. It's got an F-22 in climb on the front cover, which is a really dynamic image.
Right.
But it will have a centerfold that will have all the schedules and everything in it. But we have a whole article about the decals, subjects, and how we, and describing them much more than we can put in the decal packet.
Okay.
So that'll give you that. We wrote a history about the USS Monitor because obviously it's featured on our logo, and also because it's a central part of the history here, and the Mariners Museum, which is providing one of our tours, which is a behind the scenes, go see the artifacts sitting in conservation. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it just gives you, everybody knows about the Monitor and Merrimack for the most part, but we hope we give you a little bit more detail, and then what was recovered and what's being preserved right now. So, and then we have another article. There's Brandon's got an article about the Squadron, and so it's a nice article. I read through it day before yesterday. So, and then some other background. So it's a very slick journal, and this is the inaugural one, and the plan is for every convention, because some to include this journal.
Okay.
Conventions in the past sometimes have done a booklet similar, but not nearly as thick and comprehensive.
Wow.
Yeah, and this same size as the normal journal that comes out regularly. So it's not a shrunk down version or pamphlet. This is full production quality, just like the regular journal.
Excellent.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Charles mentioned the monitor. That it is one of our tours, and while we're on tours, foot stomp that a little bit.
Sure.
There's still plenty of room for our 2 remaining tours. We did have to drop one, and that was one of the changes I kind of alluded to earlier. Every year, host chapters plan a slate of tours, and then it's you sort of sit back, and if you build it, hopefully they'll come. Well, sometimes they'll come, sometimes they don't come. So they didn't come necessarily in enough numbers for the Norfolk Naval Museum and the USS Wisconsin, sadly.
Okay.
So we had to 86 that one, and the one reason why we did that too is it's a local attraction. You can get there in about 20 minutes from Hampton, easily accessible.
Yep.
We kept the 2 remaining Military Aviation Museum, which is a real gem, and then the monitor, behind the scenes monitor experience. There's still plenty of room in both of those tours, though. So again, if you have not registered, you have until Monday to get on that website and register for your convention package, and then sign up for any of the 2 tours that are remaining. If you have registered and you have a second thought about maybe picking up one or both of the tours, we can work with you that way. You can contact me or contact Nancy Hackney, and they can get you added on as an afterthought, even though you've already registered. So it's not too late if you want to change your mind and add a tour to your week in Hampton.
Okay.
Now I won't give away too much, but I knew I was going to be working when I was there. So when my daughter was finishing up her degree at Eastern Virginia Medical School, I went out for a week to visit, and I did all of these tours on my own, knowing that I wasn't going to have time to actually do the tours for the Nationals. And I'll tell you what, this is Class A stuff.
Yeah.
Between the Mariners Museum, the history that is in that building, and some of the most amazing ship models that you will ever see in your lifetime. Not just IPMS Nationals, in your lifetime. There's world-class work. And then the Air Museum, wow. I mean, it's one thing to go to a museum and you see aircraft hanging from the ceiling and gathering dust and what. These are all flying aircraft.
Yeah. These are all flying warbirds.
And it's, this is a modeler's dream come true, because if you ever wanted to stick your head in the wheel well of a Focke-Wulf 190 and take a picture,
that's where you can do
it. There it is.
And the other thing is, it's not just the aircraft. I mean, that facility is a step back in time, and so the main hangars are replicas of 1930s Army Air Corps hangars. The World War I hangar is a replica. The German hangar is an actual Luftwaffe expeditionary hangar.
Right. You can see bullet holes.
It still has the bullet holes. I know. It's amazing.
And signatures by slave laborers who had to assemble the thing in Poland.
Yeah, it's neat.
And there's a 12 o'clock high B-17 tower.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one time I got to stand on that tower before the air show started, and they were launching, recovering a Dauntless dive bomber, and boy, to sit there at eye level as they fly by is just. And they kicked us out, but it was incredible.
So yes, these tours, if you're coming to the Nationals and these, if you're driving more than 3-4 hours to get here, because it's not in your general area, you need to do these tours. You need to
better go sign up while there's space left.
You need to do these tours. And kind of bummed about the Wisconsin. I kind of have a soft spot for her. But the beauty of Wisconsin is that it is a local. I mean, it's just a short hop away.
Yeah, and even if you don't tour it, just
right.
drive
Being
by
there.
it because
Yeah.
you see it. Just drive right past it.
There is
Yeah.
something about standing on the boardwalk there, looking up at the bow and that
Yeah.
anchor that's the size of a small truck, and staring down the line of this absolutely amazing warship.
Yeah.
And they have a spectacular maritime and Aquarius. What is
Yeah,
it?
the Nauticus.
The Nauticus. Thank you. Aquarius, Nauticus, Pisces, Sagittarius. They they have an amazing facility in and of itself. And there's some great food downtown in that area as well.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
just 101 things to do there.
Yeah.
And if you really want to, you take the ferry over to Portsmouth and you go to the beer garden and you have
the
genuine
German beer garden there. That's
German
pretty
beer and knockwurst and schnitzel. Just
Yeah.
There you go.
There's
So
one little
nice.
thing that I didn't know, and I'm really bummed about it. And maybe I'll get a chance to do it this time around. But I didn't know that Douglas MacArthur
Oh, yeah.
is actually buried in Norfolk.
The MacArthur Memorial, which
MacArthur
is
Memorial,
right across the street from Nauticus, is also a fantastic little thing.
I never ever knew that. So
yeah, his widow acquired the old city hall, and he's entombed in the old city hall.
She's
And
there too, right? I think
Huh?
she's
Yeah.
there too.
She's there too, and the
Yeah.
interpretation of that museum is amazing. And
Yeah.
MacArthur can be a mixed figure in history, but what he participated in is eye-watering, and it's
Amazing.
all laid out there.
yeah,
It's
so
fantastic.
that's one of my must sees. I didn't get a chance to do it when I was there, but
Yeah.
hopefully
Yeah,
I'll be able
it's
to.
really cool. Very
Well,
cool.
Charles, I'll ask you first, and then I'll ask Tom the same thing. I know that both of you and your staff there, your team, if you will, have been very busy for the last, I guess, year for sure, 2 years probably, and honestly, probably longer than that because you've been planning and thinking about doing this for even longer. But put all of the work aside for a moment. What are you looking forward to at this show?
Well, I'm looking forward to something that you talk about in your article, and
Okay.
that is Brandon and I judge ship models together, and so I mean I just like walking into the competition room, and I'm just blown away by the models, and like in 2014 we had these fabulous, and I think I've talked about it, motorcycle models that came from the guy in Texas. And I'm not a car or motorcycle modeler, but I was overwhelmed by the workmanship and the quality, and I just kept getting drawn to them.
Right.
So it's and then just being at ease, able to talk to these people, because people are proud of what their craft is, so they want to share it. But then when we do the actual judging, it's friends that come together every few years. I'm jealous because Brandy can do it every year, but I only get every couple of years. But I've been judging with some of these guys for quite a while, and I just love reconnecting for that amount of time. And this time I won't have the leisure of just wandering around and enjoying myself. We'll be running around, hopefully not with our hairs on fire, but still connecting with those people that I have built relationships with.
Okay.
And oh, by the way, the shopping is really fun.
Yeah. If I can give you guys one little piece of advice as a former national convention chairman, either very early in the morning before the general public gets in, or in the immediate hours after you've kicked the last person out, walk around the model room like a tourist.
Yeah.
And take the hat off and just bask in that small amount of time that you have,
Right.
where nobody's jumping on you, nobody's wanting you to pulling you in 100 different directions. I was fortunate to be able to do that each night. I did it when judging was going on. I walked in and said, I haven't had a chance to even see the show, so kick me out if you want, but I'm going to walk around and look at the models. And that to me was kind of everything that happened at Madison. That was kind of my special moment, was that I was able to just kind of take it all in and just enjoy the quality of the work without all of the fanfare of the hustle and bustle of keeping everything running and on track.
There you go.
If you don't do that, it's over before you know it.
Yep. Well, Tom, what about you, buddy? Put all the work that you've got your plate full, but put all that aside for a moment. And what are you looking forward to at the show?
I would just echo what Charles and Jeff said. First and most, seeing old friends that'll be there, and just being able to talk about this. I think it's an art form. I mean, I don't even sound like high and hoity-toity or anything, but I don't necessarily count myself in this group, but there's a group of modelers out there that have taken this hobby to a genuine art form, and the amount of emotion and feeling that emotes off a model, some of these guys, is really spectacular. So getting to talk to them and trying to get in their head about what inspired them to do stuff like whatever the subject might be.
Right.
I really look forward to that. But mainly running into guys that I haven't seen in 8 or 10, 15 years.
Yep.
And connecting again, and it'll be like that. The time will have vanished, and you're back, to where you were when you last saw each other and what you were doing, and it's just kind of like old home week. So definitely that, and I am going to take your advice, Jeff, and do that little roaming after everybody goes home.
Yeah.
At your show, I did not get to do that. Jared, who was on the call earlier, we were running around just as much as your guys were.
Yeah.
Trying to learn from your folks and doing what we needed to do to get prepped for 25. So I zipped through the contest room, and I regret that. But
Jared says that he's going to ensure that you make time. So, and that was my biggest regret from the entire show, was that I didn't get to spend enough quality time. Number one, with the people,
it's going to be a blur too,
and with the models. And I normally go to a nationals and I spend gobs of money in the vendor room, and I didn't buy anything at my own show. I had ample opportunity, but I was so busy doing all of these other things that it's almost like it doesn't, you almost lose ownership of it. It's really strange. You have ownership of this process and of this entire event. And you two guys are just like, Merrick and I and Mark Miller were in Madison. We're the 1, 2, 3 guys. And then all of a sudden the show happens and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and everything gets compartmentalized, and it almost takes on a life of its own.
Yeah. Forgot to enjoy it.
And then the next thing you know, it's Saturday night, and everyone is complaining about how long the award ceremony is, and you're standing there, getting ready to waiting for people to leave so you can start sweeping the floors. It's amazing how quickly it goes. And how much work we put into it for to entertain our fellow modelers.
It struck me today. I ordered the container that will pack up all the show gear in to ship to John Figueroa today.
Also, my idea. Thank you.
That's
why do I have to carry all this stuff back from Texas in 110-degree heat? No.
Maybe we'll put you in the shipping container and save you some travel time and money.
There you go. Hey, Charles, you look like you had a question a minute or a comment a second ago, but I'm gonna throw this question up in the chat real quick for everybody in the chat to comment about. If I can find it. I remember it was from Dave Sanchez. I don't know where it is. Russ, if you can find it backstage, you can throw it up. But Dave said, and this is a question for everybody. I want everybody to put their comments in. How far are you willing to travel to a model contest, in this case, an IPMS Nationals. Obviously, we know that there's one gentleman coming from Australia, so there is no limit to this question, but just our friends here on Wednesday night, I'm just curious, how far will you guys travel? Will you drive so you can bring models? Some of you are very good at packing models and bringing them on airplanes. That scares me half to death, but I see you guys do it, and you bring your glue and your tweezers with you to fix anything when you get there. But while we hear from Charles and his comment that he's got, put in the chat, how far do you guys like to travel for these things? And Charles, what were you going to tell us a minute ago?
Well, I was going to say that when I went to San Marcos, I had the Tom Jet shopping list for the Jeff Hearn 3D printed tracks. So I'm so glad that those two can just geek out and I can stay out of the middle of that. But to answer your other question, I drove to San Marcos. So I ended up logging, it was 2 weeks, 10 states, and 44,000 miles or something like that on my car.
Mm.
And I have gone twice to the IPMS Nationals in the UK at Telford.
Oh, wow.
So
that must have been a hell of a drive.
That's an amazing experience, a lot different than
a snorkel.
Wow. Well, we're talking about, and I think all four of us can agree that one of the main things that we enjoy about the show is catching up with old friends and then seeing the models. So I guess it goes without saying that the model room is truly an inspiring thing. To be a model builder, I don't care how good you are, how bad you think you are at building models, there's always going to be something to see that makes you scratch your head and say, wow, how did they do that? Is that the case for you guys? Do you always get inspiration in the model room?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You know what did it for me in Madison? And I'm sure everyone, you guys all saw this. There was a gentleman who had done a rally car, and he had put it on a spiral notebook, and he painted the car to look like a drawing.
Wow.
So when you're looking at it from down at the table, it literally looks like someone had done a sketch in a notebook. But then when you got lower, you realized the model was painted to actually look like a sketch. It was
cool.
And it no matter how you looked at it, it had that effect that it played that trick on your mind, that no matter how you looked at it, it was a drawing on a spiral notebook. Yeah. But it was the actual model that was painted and was resting on top of it. Absolutely. To this day, it's mind-boggling for me.
That's an example of one of the guys I was saying, it's taking it to an art form.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I couldn't even think of that in my wildest dreams of trying to render something like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You always see something. Bill said, it's always the one that blows your mind. So, well, let me move us on. We've gone about an hour now, so I don't want to keep everybody waiting too long.
And boy, the natives are getting restless. They tell us so I can go to bed.
Yeah. So, and Tom, like what you were saying at the beginning, that you guys are proud to have your logo on a model kit. We're thrilled to death that we were able to work with you to be able to put your logo on a model kit. It's not like we just, grabbed your logo from your website and threw it on a model and said, hey, look, guys, surprise. The Tidewater Club, we worked with them and we agreed on this, and we're very, very excited to do this. Like I said last week when we announced the P47, anything that we can do to make the national convention even bigger than it already is, we want to do that, because I want to see this, not just the national convention, but the IPMS as a whole. I want to see this organization and these shows continue for years and years to come. Not that an exclusive model kit is going to do that by itself, but it's just one little thing that we can do just to add a little bit more excitement to the show. So to be able to do this, we appreciate you guys allowing us to do this. And this is really neat. So last week was the P47, and this week we give you a 48th scale B-26.
from ICM.
If you could imagine, we work well with Mini Art, so some of you might have guessed, considering that Valeria comes to Nationals with us last year, and she's planning on being there again this year. You might have guessed that the next kit was an ICM kit, but this is based on their B-26B Marauder, which some of you may already have. But what this one differs in is the decal sheet. This, excuse me, this is all from the 344th and a few different squadrons in that. But the cool thing about this is you get one kit, of course, but the decal sheet, even Valeria said it was a very, very large decal sheet. You get 10 different decal options in this kit.
Wow.
Yep. So you got 10 different bombers
Yep.
that you can build. And this is the whole box here, the sides and everything. But so here are your decal options. The front box, the cover features the hard to get, the Yo-Yo Champ, and way back in the back there, the third plane is Valkyrie. And here you go. There's the decal sheet.
Beautiful.
Lots of stuff. And just to give you an idea of how big this decal sheet is, there's Valeria's hand with it. So she thought it was big enough. She said, "You got to see this." She gave me the price on the decal sheet, and she says, "This is like way more than our normal decal." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but we got to do it." So you get a lot of decal options in this. Here's the front plane. And of course, Peter is the one that did our box art, and he has done all of the paint guide illustrations such as this one.
Yep.
And Jeff really liked the hard to get because considering this is a convention exclusive, he said, "Hey, it's going to be hard to get." So that kind of makes sense.
Had nothing to do with the nose art. It was the fact that the airplane is going to be hard. The kit will be hard to get. So little play on words there.
Yeah. But I think it's a cool plane because it's actually got nose art on both sides of the plane.
Yeah.
Which
front and back, which is kind of neat.
So it's neat.
Well, I like the OD over natural metal.
Yeah, that's really a neat effect.
Oh yeah.
And
there's
Brandon and I did the
options in this.
Brandon and I were doing the research for this. You know, what aircraft were we actually going to spotlight? And one of the things that we decided to do, there were other aircraft that we actually wanted to include, but we tried to give a variety of different types of camouflage. Obviously, OD green over olive drab, with some green 42 in there. Invasion stripes on some, and no invasion stripes if you don't want to do invasion stripes. And then, of course, the natural metal. These aircraft were originally painted in olive drab, and they actually stripped the neutral gray off the undersides of the aircraft.
Yeah, that's why the line between the two colors is so rough on most of them.
Yeah, they literally had rags and gasoline, and they were up there just scraping and chipping away paint to get it where they wanted. So a lot of options available for the modeler, and even if you have one of ICM's B-26s and you weren't overly thrilled about the decals that came in that, you certainly have enough options now.
Yeah, and the cool thing about this too, since he mentioned that, if you notice on the decal sheet, you've got one set of the stars and bars and numbers and whatnot. But if you have one of the other, if you've already got a B-26 from ICM, then that decal sheet has everything you need except for the nose arts. So if you have 2 or 3 or 4 of the ICM B-26 kits already, buy one of these kits, and all of a sudden you can build multiple planes out of this decal sheet.
Or if you're an old timer like me, you've actually got a couple of monogram kits in your stash that actually need decals. So these will not go to waste.
Yep. So you've got a lot of good options there. Just very, very cool stuff.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that airplane. I love that airplane.
Such a pretty airplane.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a great kit too. I remember a really nice job on this kit.
Yeah, going to the Air and Space Museum in DC and seeing flak bait, and now it's at Upar Hazy and in restoration. it's just such a cool piece of history.
Yeah, and there's, talking last week about the P-47 Georgia Peach, we had to include Georgia's On My Mind in this one.
Correct. That's one of the cool things about doing stuff like this is we actually get to pick what airplanes we want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and in some instances it was a case of there were aircraft that we wanted, but there's one photo. There's one photo of this aircraft that's known to exist, and it's not really enough to go on to give you the sort of information that you need to do an accurate model. So we did have to make some compromises in that regard, but I think every one of these choices could have been a highlighter. Any one of those 10 could have been the lead box art.
And Chris wants to know if there's a paint set for this, and of course there is.
There will be.
Yep, we will have that. We will have paint sets for this kit and for the P-47.
Yep,
and many other things at the show for sure.
And as of right now, unfortunately, the only thing we can't help you with is the natural metal.
Yep.
But we're working on it. I'm working on it.
We're working on it. But so yeah, there you go, Tom, Charles. Yep. That's of course you guys have known about this for weeks, but there it is officially, and we're very excited about it. And I hope that everybody else is. Both of these kits will go on sale at 1 o'clock on Wednesday. And I got to say this. So last week we were extremely vague on all of the details because we had not announced but one of them. But if any of you guys saw my email from this past weekend, there are actually a couple of ways to get this kit if you are not at the show. Now, this is a show exclusive, but if any of you signed up for our Eagle Club, which is a paid subscription through our website, you get free shipping at $100. You get a couple extra % off of every order. And some of you guys that signed up for that, you really utilized that free shipping. And I'm glad that you were able to save some money on that. But dang, but it is good. That's what we did it for. We wanted you guys to be able to utilize that, and you far exceeded your buy-in back. But that's good. It's a good thing. I'm glad you did it. But everybody that's in the Eagle Club, you will have the option of buying these two kits without being at the show. So that, there's that. And then if you are not an Eagle Club member, so we do this, what we're doing right now, every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. Well, the first day of the show happens to be a Wednesday. And 9 o'clock Wednesday that night, we will be hosting this show live from Nationals. I don't know where yet. I mean, somewhere.
We'll be in the bar.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'll have my laptop, and I will be hosting this show somewhere Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. Cool. If you are watching this show at 9 o'clock Wednesday night, the first night of the show, I've been saying for a couple of weeks now that if you're not going to the show, just get a friend of yours to pick one of these up for you. The last time I checked, I think we're all friends here. And Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, if you're watching live, I am going to give a secret code out for the website, and I'm going to have about a 10-minute window that you will be able to go over to our website, punch the code in, and buy one of these two or both of these kits live Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, just as if you were at the show. And this is based on if I don't sell out Wednesday at 1 o'clock when the show opens. And if we sell out at 1 o'clock Wednesday, then that will be an amazing thing. We bought enough of these. We wanted to buy enough to last through Saturday. But that's the only caveat there, that if for some really, really weird reason we were to sell out before 9 o'clock on Wednesday night, obviously that won't happen. But I don't think that'll be the case. I think I have enough of them for everybody to be able to get one of them at the show all the way through Saturday, and then at 9 o'clock Wednesday as well. So you guys here on Wednesday nights, we've been doing this for almost 2 years now, and so many of you are such good friends, and you're here with us every Wednesday night. I don't want to leave you guys out of this, and so Great. That's our gift to you, to be able to grab one of these even if you're not at the show. But again, it's going to be an extremely short window at 9 o'clock Wednesday, August 6th. So if you want one of these and you're not at the show, make sure to be here at 9 o'clock that Wednesday night, and I'll give you the details on how to place an order for it at that time. So
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really nice, Brandon.
Yeah.
but that's it on that. Now I'll tell you this too. So those are the only two show exclusives that are only available at the show that have the show logo on it. But we do have a couple of other surprises that I am sworn to secrecy by the manufacturer about. One of them that's going to be really cool. It's some things that will be. One of them in particular is something that's going to be released a couple of months after the show, but the manufacturer was really, really adamant about them being available to customers at the show. So they wanted to ask if we would be willing to vend these items to the public. So make sure to come by our booth and check it out. It's going to be very cool. I think you'll really like it.
That's neat. Do you know if Valeria is planning to bring anything that's in production, like some test shots or not quite ready for mass production yet, but stuff on the workbench?
I know that she's got some announcements that she might be able to talk about. But as far as physical copies, I don't know. I'll find out. I'll ask her if she can bring anything.
Okay.
Their production is really, it kind of amazes me. They have things planned. They get all the 3D stuff done. And then it's like when they say, let's go, they go, and it's ready to go really soon. It's kind of amazing. My point in saying that is some of the things that are going to be released months to come or sometime next year, they probably don't physically have anything to to hold yet. But I'll find out. I'll see if she can bring anything with her just to show off and talk about.
Exactly. We had tried to get producers or manufacturers to send anything that's either a CAD drawing or a mock-up or a test shot or something like that, just to whet the appetite of guys going through the vendor room of what is on the horizon. So.
Well, we have, and I don't want to say what yet, because if it doesn't happen this exact way, I don't want anybody to be upset. But we have a couple of ideas of ways we are going to do that and showcase some things for some of the manufacturers that we work with that are not, like, for example, Alina from Mini Art. She was planning on being there, but just like your Copper State guy, she was not able to get her visa and whatnot. So she's not going to be there. So some of the things that she was going to be displaying, we're going to try to display that for her, be it in physical form or be it in digital form. So we'll see what we can do as far as that goes.
Yeah, thanks. That'd be great.
Well, cool. Well, guys, I'm so excited about this show. Do you have anything else to share with us that we need to know or would like to know about the show?
Just a couple things, because we foot stomped a couple times about pre-registration ending Monday.
Okay.
And a couple things are nearly sold out. The banquet is almost sold out. We've got about 11 seats left. So if you haven't registered and you want to go to the banquet, better do so quickly. Of course, all of our paid seminars sold out quite a while ago, but we have 41 other free seminars that are available, first come, first serve. Anything you could think about, there'll be something that'll whet your appetite that you'll want to take a seat and take part of hour and a half presentation.
Okay.
Grex, of course, will be there with their airbrush workshop, but Spray Gunner, if you're new to airbrushing or you haven't decided, what airbrush to get, or you're thinking about buying a new airbrush, the Spray Gunner team is going to have a room to themselves, as will Grex. But on two occasions, I believe Wednesday and Saturday, that room will be set up purely for airbrush demo. So they will have all their airbrushes for sale set up, and you can physically manipulate, spray, shoot paint, and get a feel for what this airbrush does or doesn't do for you and how it feels.
Okay.
I think it's a neat opportunity, to try before you buy. And so definitely take part of that. I wanted to put a couple other things. We talked about tours earlier, and they are what they are, but none of these shows happens kind of in a vacuum. It takes a team effort to pull them off, as Jeff alluded to. Mm-hmm. Part of that team is the greater IPMS society, the people that come to these shows. So we need your help to help man some of these various parts of the the event, whether it's taking tickets, checking wristbands, checking badges for people accessing the vendor room or the contest room to make sure they're registered convention goers, things like that, runners, you name it. There's a job that we need your help with.
Okay.
You do 2 shifts, you get a free volunteer T-shirt for helping us out. On the website and on Facebook, there is a sign-up link where you can go ahead and you just click the link and you'll see all the available jobs. There's over 500 different positions that we need to have filled across the 4 days. And it's a 2-hour shift for the most part. So it won't kill your day to do one or more over the course of the 4 days. So please look at that. We only have 149 positions filled right now, so we got a ways to go. We'll be taking names too at the show. So if you can't do it before then, we'll definitely be looking for you to sign up at the show and help us out. Another thing I wanted to mention too is something that's kind of special to me, and that's the Tunnel to Towers benefit barbecue dinner we're doing. Like the Nauticus tour, it's a little bit in jeopardy right now. The cost of renting the Virginia Air and Space Science Center, it's a museum in downtown Hampton, and then getting it catered and the transportation are fairly daunting. Tickets are $50 a person. It gets you dinner. The museum is closed to the public while we're in there, so it's after normal hours. So the museum is ours for the evening. You can wander around the museum, eat dinner underneath F-18 and F-84. There's a Huey, there's F-4 hanging from the ceiling. There's Apollo capsule. I mean, it's a really cool venue, and we'll be dining there amidst all the artifacts. And it's an enjoyable evening. You got round trip bus transportation, but the proceeds, if we have any, will go to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. And if you're not familiar with that, I urge you to go to T2T. That's T, the number 2, T.org. It's a fantastic organization started by a gentleman who lost his brother in one of the Twin Towers in New York. His name's Frank Siller. His brother Stephen died in one of the towers. And what they do is they gift the families of fallen service members or first responders who die in the line of duty a mortgage-free home to their families or surviving spouse and children. They also retrofit homes for catastrophically wounded service members and first responders so that they can be as fully independent as they're able to be in their own home. And of course, they pay the mortgage off for that as well. Yeah. Most recently, something I think is really topical and timely is they've begun purchasing old, I don't know if they were abandoned or just vacant hotel properties, and they're everywhere. You see them everywhere. A Holiday Inn went in and then it closed and it's just been abandoned. Well, they're taking those over and they're getting homeless veterans off the street and into these completely refurbished hotel spaces. Each guy or gal gets their own room. They have on-site medical, mental health care for them. They do job placement. They do job skills to try and get them back into society and off whatever. If they're dependent on a substance or something, they get them help on that. So all of this, 93 cents or more of every dollar donated goes to the recipient. So it's very low overhead charity. Just, I can't say enough about it. If you can't make the event or you can't do the show, go to T2T.org and think about signing up. Do a subscription. It's $11 a month. And they pull it right out of your a debit card or a credit card. You don't even feel it. It's less than a venti cup of coffee twice a week or so. So, and it just does amazing stuff. So that is something that we're still hoping that will come off. But right now it's a little bit in jeopardy. We need about another 60 people to sign up to make it profitable in the sense that we have a donation to make.
Okay.
So check that out. And we hope we see the numbers grow before Monday, when we of course shut down with pre-registration. So those were some of the big things I wanted to foot stomp. We're getting excited. I mean, the butterflies are flying for sure, between Charles and myself and the other members of my team. I think we're in a good place, all things considered. We've certainly had some challenges, politically and economically and trade-wise and stuff. It's been a little bit like, okay, what's going to happen now? But largely those things have gone and bypassed us without any real disruption. So I'm happy to report that. But the next 5 weeks is going to go by like that. And before we know it, we'll be shaking hands, greeting you, then wishing you bon voyage back to Georgia, and we'll be packing your crate.
Yeah, and we'll be doing this again on a Wednesday night, talking about how much fun it was.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah,
we hope.
Hopefully, Charles and I'll get invited to stop by, and we'll throw back a cold one or something. I'd love that.
There you go. Well, guys, I appreciate. Charles, you got anything else to add, buddy, before we get out of here?
We didn't give the poor guy a chance to say anything. See,
no, that's because I'm the eye candy. Tunnel to the Towers. We also have a quilt that one of our wives of one of our members, who was John Lent, who was the chairman for 2014. His wife Tricia, who's also a retired Air Force like John is a quilt maker, and she is making this beautiful quilt that we're raffling off. Okay. So you can go on the IPMS website. You can buy tickets. Even if you not there, we'll ship it to you. And it's just it's another way to contribute, but also maybe get yourself out of the doghouse with a gift that looks nice and you can hand it off while you're sneaking model kits in the door.
Yeah. I don't trumpet many causes, because for whatever reason, no matter what you do, you're going to agitate somebody. But Tunnels to Towers has always been kind of near and dear to my heart. Being a New Yorker, being in that part of the world when 9/11 happened, I was just outside of New York City at Teterboro when it happened. That hits home. And the fact that this charity is not, how do you put it tactfully? When you donate $1 to them, 93 cents of it goes to actually helping it goes to the mission. Yeah. And there are, and we hear horror stories of so many other charity organizations where you donate $1 and 10 cents of it goes to the mission, or 3 cents of it goes to the mission, and the CEO's got $1 million a year salary. Exactly. This is not that. Tunnel to Towers is the real deal. It is. And they operate on a grassroots level. I know, Tom, Charles, you guys recently had a police officer who was killed in the line of duty. Two of them. And one of the very first things that happened is Tunnel to Towers got involved to help take care of the families. Yeah. And that not only shows their mission is in their heart, but it shows that they're proactive. Because they're not just going through the motions and making it look good for the media. Right. So even if you don't have a chance to go to the dinner, and I'm going to try, I'm going to try to be there. Even if we don't get a chance to go to the dinner, support Tunnels to Towers. Yeah, please do. Please do.
Well, awesome. Well, guys, again, I'm looking forward to it. Very happy to have you on here tonight. And like you said, the next few weeks is going to fly by, and I'm going to be knocking on that roll-up door. Hey, let me in.
Yeah. We'll be there. We'll be on the other side.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to judging with you Friday night, Charles. You're going to be there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good deal. Good deal.
Yeah, Charles is going to be the snacko for the judges. So
good. Bring us something good.
So. I'm just looking forward to the fact that I don't have to do any work other than.
Well, I was about to say, what are you talking about?
You know what I mean? I don't have to do any convention work.
Crack the whip on you.
I don't have to do. Hey, like Charles said, I'm just eye candy.
There you go.
I'm your celebrity guest appearance.
There, hear you. Well, guys, thank you so very much. We'll go ahead and say good evening, and we'll do this again sometime soon.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.
Thanks
We'll see
again
you
for
soon.
everything. Really
See you.
appreciate it.
Yep.
Looking
See y'all
forward to
next.
it.
See you
Good
next
night.
time. Well, Jeff, I'm gonna say bye to you too, I reckon, and get out of here and talk to you in the morning.
I'm glad your internet held up, and
I am too. I'm kind of
Good.
surprised, but
it was good to
All
see you
right.
smiling instead of.
yeah. Well, I will talk to you in the morning, Jeff.
Alrighty. You have a good night. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you hopefully in Virginia in a few
There you
weeks.
go. Well, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. A lot of good stuff we went through tonight, and I saw a lot of questions in the chat that I did not get to. I apologize about that. The 411 maintainer was asking about the Eagle Club membership. It's somewhere buried on the website, but the registration for that might have closed because it's $100 a year, and we opened that up in October, I believe. So it may still be available. We may have a few slots left. If you can find it, just type Eagle Club on the website. It may still be there, but it's supposed to be deactivated in July just because it is, and then we'll open it back up. If you have a membership, that runs all the way up through October or November, whenever it is. But it's neat. We'll do it again. It was pretty successful for us. We did it as a way to have a few people have a little extra, and a lot more people were interested in it than we thought. So we will definitely do it again next year. We've got some other little ideas to perhaps do a little bit more for you guys. I've got one thing that everybody's going to get, and I'm going to be sending an email out about this soon to all the Eagle Club members to find out if you're coming to Nationals or not. If you're coming to Nationals, you'll get this there. If not, we'll mail it to you. But we've got little, if it'll focus. Yeah, there you go. There's your official Eagle Club pin, and it won't focus, of course, but yeah, you can trust me. It says Eagle Club, squadron.com, but you'll be getting that. You'll be getting a couple other little things, some posters and whatnot that are neat. And of course, you'll be among the first ones to be able to get one of these. You won't get it until the show starts, but you'll be able to secure one, put your order in. So it'll be neat. But anyway, I appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good week, a good weekend. And we'll do this again, same place, same time next week. And I sure do appreciate it. Y'all have a great evening.